Hello guys, in this video I'm going over a property of matrix multiplication which tells us matrix multiplication is not commutative. That means A times B is not equal to B times A. I'm not going over how we can multiply matrices. I did that in my previous video, so you guys should watch that video if you want to know how to multiply matrices. In this video I'm gonna multiply them and just gonna prove A times B is not equal to B times A. Alright, so let's do it. So the rule is, again, if the number of columns in first matrix is equal to number of rows in the second matrix, we can multiply them. So number of columns in this one is 1, 2 and 3. Number of rows in this one, 1, 2 and 3. So we can multiply these matrices. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna multiply this to this and this one, and then we can find our elements. Okay, so I'm gonna take off those. Let's find our elements. Okay, so 2 times 3, negative 3 gives me negative 6. Negative 1 times 0, I'm gonna put negative 0. 3 times 1 gives me 3. Then we're gonna do 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And then again this with the third one. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 1 multiplied by 2 gives me negative 2. And 3 times 1 gives me 3. Okay. And this is our first row. That looks a little crooked. Let's make it again. Alright, that's fine. So now this row with these columns, so negative 3 by negative 3 gives me positive 9, negative where I was, yeah, so 2 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, so negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, 2 times 5 is 10, and 0 times negative 2 gives me negative 0, and third one is negative 3 by negative 1 gives me 1, and 2 by 2 gives me 4, sorry, 4, and 0 times 1 gives me 0. And now here 5 times negative 3 gives me negative 15. 1 times 0 gives me 0. Negative 1 times the 1, so 1. 5 times 2 gives me 10, and 1 times 5 gives me 5. Negative 1 times negative 2 gives me positive 2, and 5 times negative 1 gives me negative 5. 1 times 2 gives me 2, and negative 1 times 1 gives me negative 1. Positive here. So let's find out A times B, which is going to be okay. So this will gives me negative 3, 9, and this will gives me, oh, something is wrong there. Supposed to be negative 1, I believe. Negative 1 here. Let me fix it. Negative 15 plus 0 and negative 1, because negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Okay, so negative 3, 9, and this gives me negative 16, negative 7, this gives me 4, and this gives me 17, and here we got negative 1, 7, and negative 4. So this is A times B. Let's find B times A. So B multiplied by A, which is negative 3, 0, 1, 2, 5. Let me write it down fast. Gonna multiply it with A, 2, negative 3, and 5, negative 1, 2, 1, 3, 0, and negative 1. Now let's multiply these two matrices, which will give me basically, so negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6, then 2 times negative 3, negative 6, negative 1 by 5 gives me negative 5, negative 3 by negative 1 gives us 3, 2 times 2 is 4, negative 1 by 1 gives me negative 1, and then we got negative 9, negative 9 plus 0 plus 1, and here we get 0, negative 15, negative 3, and 2 times 5 is positive 10, got 0 plus 10 plus 2, then we got 0 plus 0, negative 2, and third row we got 2 plus 6 plus 5, negative 1, negative 4 plus 1, and this gives me 3 minus 0 minus 1. So now we just need to add and subtract these numbers. So please watch my other video on how to add or subtract real numbers or integers. That's where I go over some tricks that will help you to add these numbers faster with lesser mistakes. Okay, so let's do that. This gives me negative 17, negative 5, this gives me 13, and here we got 6, 12, and negative 4, and here we got negative 8, negative 2, and 2. So this is our B times A. Now if you look carefully, the product of A into B is not same as B into A. So those are two different matrices. So that tells us the matrix multiplication is not commutative. That means A times B is not equal to B times A. Alright. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Please share the video with others and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.